What's going on, my fellow 10-0? Today we're taking a look at the very powerful and fun to play Okina Incarnon Genesis. Now, out of all the new Incarnon weapons, the Okina is easily my favorite. Now, while in Incarnon mode, kills create a dagger that briefly orbits you before flying off towards an enemy, and when it hits an enemy, it applies max stacks of cold in a radius. Now, as you can see from the gameplay, it's pretty much a huge red crit machine. And once you go into Incarnon and start slinging those ice daggers everywhere, the Okina Incarnon becomes a very powerful melee weapon that has quickly become one of my favorite melee weapons in Warframe. Not that you have to, but I would like to point out that Okina Incarnon has tremendous synergy with Frost. Frost passive gives him 50 armor per enemy affected by cold, and since every kill from Okina sends out cold daggers, it's almost like the weapon should have been made specifically for Frost. That's how good the synergy is. I have built this out in nearly every way imaginable, and what I'm about to share is the strongest build I think you can build right now at this moment. Now, before we get into it, please make sure you give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel with the YouTube algorithms, and it would be greatly appreciated. Let's jump in and take a look at the Okina Prime Incarnon Genesis build. Alright, Evolution. So for Evolution 1, you only have one option. That is the obvious choice and the only choice to go with. Now moving over to Evolution 2, this one is interesting. You do get some extra damage on status damage with Synergistic Surety, but I've seen in my testing a lot more benefit with seeing red. So as soon as you run out of your Incarnon mode, if you have 2 or 3 hits with your daggers, you are back into Incarnon mode instantly. So you have literally a 95+% uptime with Incarnon mode. So I see that as much more beneficial than some extra damage on the status damage. You don't even need the status damage because we're already one-shotting anything we touch. But if you want that extra damage, sure, go for it. You're just not going to be in Incarnon mode as fast as you want to be. Now moving over to Evolution 3. This one is really interesting. I see 2 major choices here. So I choose to go with the +1 range, so I don't have to have the primed range mod on. It frees up another slot for us. But you can also go with the +30% movement speed. I do believe that this +30% movement speed is the fastest movement speed for any Incarnon weapon. I could be wrong, but I do believe that is the case. And for the third option, you do have standoff. I find this one to be the most out of the bunch. So I would either go with +1 range or 30% movement speed. Personally, I prefer the +1 range because you free up a mod slot. Now moving over to the last evolution. This one is interesting. You cannot go wrong with either choice here. You have Survivor's Edge, which gives you extra crit chance and base status chance, which is really good. You have increased base status chance by 12 and 25 with Alchemy of War. But personally, I chose to go with Commodore's Fortune. I want as much crit chance as possible. I want to get those red crits going as soon as possible. And that's exactly what Commodore's Fortune does for us. And a quick look at the build. So as you can see here on the range, we have 2.7 meters of range. So that's why we went with the +1, so we can free up a slot to add more damage or whatever we want to do with the build. But in this particular case, we're adding another slot for crit damage, and I'll show you how we did that. So we got Condition Overload, Blood Rush, which adds more crit chance, Galvanized Steel, more crit chance, Vicious Frost, and Virulent Scourge to add Viral. And we got extra crit damage, but these two right here, Gladiator Might and Gladiator Rush, when you look at both of them, they each add 20% melee critical chance per combo multiplier. That is 240% crit chance per multiplier for each mod. That's 480%, so you're automatically going to be in the red with these 2 mods. Now, on top of it, this particular arcane has been the most beneficial with this particular build. I have tried every single one, and this one easily outdamages all of them. So this is the build we're going with right here, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Get out there, try the build. Let me know how it goes. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.